Hi, hello all. I'm Soumya. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science in SNS College of Technology. Welcome to this session on visual perception, an important topic and understanding how people interpret visual information in data dashboards. Visual perception plays a major role in how effectively users understand charts, colors, patterns, and visual signals. So, today we will explore how the human brain perceives the visuals and how these understanding help us to design the data better dashboards. Now, let's we see what is visual perception. Visual perception refers to how our eyes and brain work together to understand the visual information. The moment we look at a chart or dashboard, our brain automatically tries to identify the patterns, detect the shapes, and compare the sizes and interpret the colors. Visual perception is not just about seeing, it's about making sense of what we see. In data visualization, this means that the way we design the visuals must match how people naturally perceive and process the information. Now let's we see the importance of visual perception. Visual perception is extremely important because it determines how quickly users understand a dashboard. When we see perceptually effective design, users can instantly recognize the patterns and group the similar items and compare the values easily and focus on what matters most. However, if the design goes against natural perception like using confusing colors or misaligned visuals, users struggle to interpret the data. So the importance of visual perception lies in designing the visual that align with how the brain naturally processes the information. Let's begin with the problem statement. In many dashboards, we see the visuals that ignore the basic principles of perception. For example, using too many similar colors and placing the related items far apart and overlapping elements and using shapes that the brain cannot easily differentiate. These issues make the dashboard harder to read and cause the viewer to misunderstand the data. So the problem we are addressing here is how do we design the visuals that match the way the human brain perceives the information. In the empathize stage, we try to understand how users visually interpret the dashboards we design. We observe where their attention goes first and which elements confuse them and whether they can spot the patterns immediately and how they react to cluttered visuals. Different users have different levels of visual comfort. Some may struggle with color differences, some may struggle with alignments, and some with the clutter. By empathizing, we learn how perception differs from person to person and how we can design the visuals that work for everyone. Next stage is define stage. From our observations, we define the key aspects of visual perception that influence the dashboard design. Gestalt principles shows how the brain groups the similar elements. Then pre-attentive processing. It shows the elements the brain understands in under 200 milliseconds. Then third one is figure ground contrast. What stands out versus what is in background. Then visual hierarchy. It shows what the eyes notice first, next and last. By defining these principles, we build a clear framework for designing the perceptually effective dashboards. Next stage is ideate stage. In the ideation stage, we brainstorm the ways to apply visual perception principles to dashboard design. Ideas include using size and color intensity to highlight the important information and placing the related visuals close together and using consistent icon shapes and applying the Gestalt principles like proximity and similarity, ensuring strong contrast for readability. The goal is to explore multiple design options all grounded in how the human brain perceives the visuals. Next stage is prototype stage. In the prototype stage, we take these ideas and apply them in a tool like Power BI or Tableau. We experiment with different layouts, color palettes, spacing, alignment, topography, shapes and icons. We check if the visual hierarchy is clear, meaning the user's eye moves naturally from the most important insight to the supporting details. Next stage is testing stage. Next, we test our prototype with the real users to see how they perceive it. We observe, do users notice the important insights first? Do their eyes follow the internet reading flow? Or visual groups interpret the data correctly? Is anything too distracting or too subtle? Testing reveals whether our design matches the natural visual perception. If we not, we refine the visuals again. Now, let's we summarize this topic. Visual perception determines how people understand the dashboards. It involves how the brain interprets the patterns, shapes, colors, sizes, and positions. When visuals align with perception principles, dashboard become easy to read. When they don't, users feel confused or overloaded. Using the design thinking process like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, we can design the dashboard that match how humans naturally see and understand the information. Always remember, a good visualization is not just about design. It's about designing for the human mind. Thank you for watching.